Hello everybody, welcome back to another F45trading.com weekly market review for the first week of June actually. First week of July, the 1st to the 5th. And just keep in mind, everybody, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, it is non-farm week. So at the end of the week, I'll bring up the economic calendar here right now. Lots of holidays. We are officially in summer now, so obviously it's going to be summer trading. You can see how the week is shaping up. We have Canadian dollar bank holiday on Monday. We've got OPEC meetings all day Monday, and then at early New York open was, at 10 a.m. New York time was ISM manufacturing for US dollar. At the time of this recording, it's actually just about end of trading day, about 10 minutes away from end of trading day on Monday. Yeah, my apologies for getting this out so late. It's where I'm at. I'm observing Canada Day now, so it's a holiday, and my family had some plans for the day, so we went out and took part in some festivities in the morning, and now I'm finally able to get back in front of the charts here now. So sorry for the delay getting it out, but here it is now. Going into Tuesday, though, I think we've got still some opportunity here. Tuesday going into Wednesday. So for the next couple of days, I wouldn't be trading Thursday. Obviously, it's a U.S. dollar bank holiday Thursday. You don't want to be trading any U.S.-related foreign currencies, and that's all I'm going to be doing analysis for here going forward is U.S. currencies. So I won't be trading Thursday, and of course, we've got NFP on Friday. So you definitely don't want to be trading NFPs, of course, or Canadian dollar, for that matter, because of the volatility that we're going to experience on that. So looking at this, we've got some Australian dollar news. We've got their rate statement coming out. So the Australian dollar is going to be fairly volatile going into Tuesday. That's early London open Tuesday. So watch out for that. If you have any positions on Australian dollar, you might want to manage those or wait to get into a position on Australian dollar if you haven't already, and until those rate statements go through. And then Tuesday, we've got OPEC meetings again all day. FOMC members speaking. We've got more Australian dollar news to wrap up the end of the day. So lots of volatility in Australian dollar, which leads us into Wednesday. Some medium impact news events for the pound sterling. And then we have ADP non-farm employment change numbers for the US dollar, Canadian dollar trade balance, and then again, ISM non-manufacturing and retail sales. So again, I think Wednesday's going to be fairly good, and Tuesday are going to be fairly good, but I wouldn't be in any trades past Wednesday, New York or London close, just because the markets could get a little interesting. So keep an eye on that. Let's jump into the charts here quick and get you a quick review out here for the week. So we're looking at the US dollar, and I had a very strong suspicion. I was actually looking for this move last week, and it ended up coming in on opening day of the week here. So this big move upward, I was looking for a steady, continuous move upward last week. Again, didn't get it. And I also wanted to watch, there were two levels. One was this level right here at 9600, or 96 even, I guess. It was where I was looking to see if they wanted to just sort of run prices above here and then reject and run lower, or if they actually wanted to push higher. And we obviously got the answer that we were looking for here. Now, I'm not looking for this to go any higher than current location. Maybe a couple of pips or two, but I don't want to see this thing start to stretch up into this range up in here. There's a tiny little gap right up in here that I'm looking at 96.70, but I'm hoping we're going to start to see some level of resistance at current location, and then price will ultimately fall off. I'm still continuing my bearish standpoint on US dollar, and we do have 95.11, 95.10 earmarked here on the charts. So I think that will be a very easy target for US dollar to stretch this to this week. If not this week, then for sure next week. But I'm hoping we're going to start to see some reversal some point in time. Now, typically, again, here, I'll put the daily dividers on so you can see these are the months and how they're shaping up. Typically, if we're going to see continued downward momentum on the dollar going into July, we should see the highs of the month getting put in this week, and then we'll see the lows of the month getting put in, obviously, later on into July. So, so far, so good. We're looking like everything is sort of coming into out as planned. Now the trick becomes as to where the top of this current retracement is going to form, and then hopefully we'll start to see the result move downward. Now, if we take a quick fib off of this guy here, and we look at that, I would hope that, again, 50% of the range, maybe up to the 62% retracement level, would get filled in. But you see that gap right up there that I was talking about, right around that 72% retracement level, could also be a draw. So I'm going to be watching on that before I get too involved in the markets. I'm hoping that the high will be put in somewhere in the next about 12 to 15 hours or so. And again, at the time of this recording, it's just about close of day, 5 p.m. New York time, Monday afternoon. So I'm looking for this range up in here to fill, if it does want to go that high, and start to retrace back down sometime in between now and, like I say, about the next 12 to 15 hours. So we'll watch for that. Flipping over to the Euro USD. Now, I wanted to talk about this a bit. We have some opportunity here that I think is going to play out. I like this high right here. This is very similar to that other low on the US dollar that came in. Let me just flip back at 94.50. I'm sorry, at 95.10. This is my only target on this week. I don't think we're going to stretch down under here. We'll have to wait and see what it wants to do once it runs this low. But this is my ultimate low on the US dollar for this week. And on Euro, this is going to be my target for this week on Euro at 114, and we'll just move that up to an even 114.50. So again, I'm not going to get long yet. I want to see where we're at going into Tuesday London Open. And I'd like to see if we can bring price down to about the 1260 level and see where we're at. If we have any willingness to want to hold that level off, or if it wants to keep falling lower. My line in the sand is pretty much right about here. If we see price wanting to trade down back into this little consolidation area here and really start to wanting to stab down, then the idea of this going long into this week and trying to take out this high is not going to be valid. So that is going to be my go, no-go area right down here. But I'm looking basically for something like this to happen. And so far, Monday is doing a very good job at selling off, taking all of the sell stops on the market, and I bet you they're just gathering longs. They're just gathering longs all down in here, and I think they're going to shoot this thing higher. So that's ultimately my target on the week, is this high right here. So if we do get a nice little long off of there at 1260, I mean, we could see the upside of better of 200 pips this week. So for all of my members in our group, we will be discussing that in detail going into tomorrow. And if you're not part of our group, I guess you'll just have to watch that on your own and keep an eye on that. Going into the pound dollar now, I want to have a look on this one. Now, price, finally, I've been talking about this level for a very long time. Whoops, let me just zoom in a bit here. So this whole price structure in here, you saw how price came in. I'm just going to back this up a bit and zoom out a little bit. There we go. So we had this big run down, price consolidated here, dropped lower and swung below this previous swing low here, ran back up and took out the highs and just kind of was sitting nowhere. I've been looking and haven't had these levels on my charts here now for about a week and a half. And I wanted to see them return back down, and we're almost there now. Price is currently at 126.38, 126.40. I'm looking for a move back down to about the 12600 level. So we're very, very close to that right now. Just one more little stab down. I'm going to be watching this again, very similar going into London Open. And I want to see a bounce. I don't want to see price continue down into this block of price action down in here. I do not want them to trade into there. I want to see a lot of sensitivity right at this level in here, and then I want to see them push higher. So that's what I'll be watching. Ultimate goal, I'm not going to be as concerned about the levels and specific targets as I am on the euro, but I think if we can get above this old high right in here for the week, I think that would be a good range. If it does want to stretch up to 128.10 up in here, great, but I think I would probably be out just because I think they're probably going to try and push the euro up this week. And the only reason I'm thinking, so just looking at this, looking at EURGBP, you see how we had the sell-off in here, big down candle. We just took this high here, price sort of started to peter out, and we're starting to see a decline. I don't know that we're going to see these relative equal lows in here get run out, but if we do, that could further sink the euro. But if it does get down here, I would be expecting a very quick return down and then a rejection higher, and that rejection is why I'm kind of looking at Euro USD, giving us some strength to the upside and really pushing above that old high that I mentioned. If we can see that give us some signs in this pair here, then I think it would the probability would be much higher, in my opinion. So I'm going to be watching Euro GBP going into Tuesday as well. So really, US dollar, Euro GBP, pound dollar, and of course Euro USD. Those four I'm going to be watching and making sure that price is playing out the way that it should be, and that we're not going to have any surprises. But that's sort of what my targets are. I'm looking for continued upside on Euro GBP. And again, we could consolidate a little bit, which could lead to some further manipulation on one of the two pairs. But for now, I'm just looking for a quick return, finding some support either in the current area in here or below these lows, and then a rejection. Okay. US CAD hit our targets for last week, as mentioned, 130-100, and you can go back to my weekly review from last week as price was down here, and I had at this level on my chart saying that was going to get run out, and it actually went a lot deeper than that. It went to 130.60 on the downside, so an extra 40 pips you would have got on that trade had you got that. Hopefully you got that. But that's it. That was my target on the week that just got filled in. I'm going to move that right down there. And we're done there. So whether this wants to continue lower, great. There's lots of levels down in here, and especially a couple of relatively equal lows down here that I've got. So I'm going to move this down. I'm not saying it's going to get there, but I think the likelihood now is fairly strong, especially if we see continued weakness in the dollar. But I think my attention is going to be moved out this week, especially to euro, a pound, and and a few others here. Okay. UJ, real quickly, is created a gap on the week starting out, and I think we could see them, if we see continued upside on the dollar, we could see them try to run these highs in here and maybe rebalance off of these lows. So that's basically what I wanted to see them do the past couple of weeks, is run back up into these old consolidation levels up in here from back in May. We didn't get that, as you can see. Price really fell off, and we still haven't gotten below this low here. Ultimately, that is my target moving forward. I'm going to move a price label on that so you can see that all the way down there. So we're still a couple hundred pips away from that now, but I think, again, we're seeing some upside on US dollar right now, so it's going to pull UJ up a slight bit. And I want to see if they have any willingness to run above these highs here. If they do, I don't expect them to go any higher than this previous consolidation level in here. And that's my line in the sand. And I'm going to bring this guy down here and basically put it right about here. If you see price trading above 109, you know what, we'll call it 109.40, just for an even number, then my interest is not going to be to the downside on UJ. Okay, but I think as an easy target, we could see them run these highs quickly. My target one would be that gap that it created on the week, and then my target two would be this low, and maybe I might leave a little bit on for the rest of the week at 106.40. Again, it could take longer in the month to do this. These are fairly far out targets, but I just want to keep them up there so we're aware of them. Like it could take another 2-3 weeks for the price to get all the way back down here. So that's why I'm setting different target levels throughout this trade idea. Australian dollar, again, we've got that rate announcement, and you can see prices really stretching lower. I've got this price in here that I think they're going to return back down to for that rate statement that I was talking about. And 69.35 on the downside, I think, could get tagged. So I'm going to be watching for that. We could see even lower prices. Keep in mind, they just ran an old high up in here that they were really working. They ran these lows that I mentioned before a couple of weeks ago, ran those out nicely 2 weeks back, and ever since then, Aussie's just been on a tear higher. And we just took out an old high up here, so I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see continued downslide on Aussie, to the tune of maybe even back to these, 72 or 79% retracement level. I'm just going to say sort of the middle of that range right now, but I'm going to have to wait and see once price gets back into here, if it has any willingness to do so, what the strength of the downside is. Because with a rate statement, you never know how powerful that swing could be. I think if we see lower prices in the US dollar, we will ultimately see higher prices in Aussie. And I've got a level up here that I've had on for a while now at 72.10 that I think they're going to run up to. We're, again, a couple hundred pips away from that. But with that rate statement, I'm not touching Aussie until that's done, and then we see when the dust settles where it's at, and then we'll go from there. That's it for Forex for today on the week. I want to talk about oil quickly, and then gold, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So oil started off, pretty much did nothing all last week. We had OPEC meetings again, and so there's a little bit of uncertainty. We had price had a real nice push off of these levels here. To be honest with you, I was looking for price to go down a little bit further. Didn't get it. Just ran below these two equal lows there, and once, twice, didn't even get below that low there, and then rejected. OPEC meetings going on Monday and Tuesday, and we just see what they did here. As you can see, I'll take the day divider off, make it a little clearer. We have a big shooting star right here, just out of nowhere, boom. Put a high in, put a low in, going to finish up in the middle of the day, middle of the range here, so really not going anywhere. We're going to have to wait for the OPEC meetings to finish. I'd like to see them retrace back down. I really would. I want to see them come back down to the 54.50 level, balance off of this consolidation level in here, and then continue higher if that is what they want to do. But I want to see what they want to do in here. We could see some further indecision until those OPEC meetings are done this week. And and then we'll see what they want to do from there. Pardon me. But I want to see what the results are from the OPEC meetings before I get my overall bias opinion on oil. Ultimately, long term, I'm bullish. But as we hit the highs in here, I mentioned I was short-term bearish, and I didn't know where the low was going to be, if it was going to be here or if it was going to be another level lower. And so far, we have a level in here that got ran down to. Is this going to be the low? I don't know. Right now, it's not really looking too willing to go any higher. So I want to find out if this is going to be the high and they're going to drop lower, or if we are indeed going to start continuing higher. If we start running higher and we get back into this trading range in here, then they'll probably, they'll probably want to start to try to run out this old high right back up here, and then we can easily target that and then target higher prices down the road from there. But for right now, I'm not convinced that this is that price is going to continue to climb from here. I want to see what happens after the OPEC meetings, and then we'll go from there. And obviously, my members will get that information ahead of time. If you're watching this for free on our YouTube channel, you will have to wait until next week for my next weekly market review. Or you can jump onto f45trading.com and sign up, and you'll get live analysis on the fly almost every day in our chat room. Lastly, gold. Gold is working out beautifully. It set a high here, and as price was firing out of this range in here, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get in unless you just got in blindly. There wasn't a lot of retracements. One little day right in here where it retraced a bit, and then pushed up much higher early on in the week, creating that all-time high for the past 6 years right there early last week. And then price really didn't do anything to close off last week. And then you can see here where we opened way down. Now, I like this. I really like to see this. It gives me hope that I think we're going to see higher prices. I've got a level of... oops. I got to go way back. I got a level of 1,500 up here that I think we could see gold run up into. I think this is just the start, and I like that it's retracing in here. So I want to see them come further down into tomorrow, into London Open, and I want to see if there's any sensitivity at 113.75 or 113. 66 in this area in here, or you could call it 113.60, I guess, to the downside. Or if they want to fall all the way back down to this old high in here and try to retest this consolidation level in here. That could be where we're going, but in any case, I like to see this. I'm looking for further continuation downward going into Tuesday, and then I'm looking for them to hit the low Tuesday or Wednesday, and then a nice steady run back higher is where I'm looking. So gold is definitely what I'm looking at this week. Again, it's basically my eyes are on euro. They're on oil and gold for the week. I'm not really looking at anything else, okay? And finally, just following up, just because we hit an all-time new high again here on the S&P, you can see Monday shot straight up in the middle of nowhere and took an all-time high out again when it made an all-time high last week. So now we are currently, the high now comes in on the S&P at 2981. That's pretty incredible. So I think, I mean, that goes to show you the strength of the markets right now. Whether or not it's artificial strength or not, there's a lot of different varying opinions out there on that. I'll let you be the judge of that, but I just wanted to point that out today. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this walkthrough for the markets for the upcoming week. I hope you're also going to enjoy your summer. Take it easy on the markets. It's not like you got to be in there all summer long slogging it out. We're getting, you know, find the opportunities where they lie and let them come to you. Don't go out and force them. Don't try and sit in front of the charts all day, all long, because that's where you're going to get into trouble. Go in the markets, get a nice trade for the week and be done. Enjoy your summer. And the markets aren't going anywhere. They'll all be here in September when you come back. So hopefully you keep that trading mentality going on through the summer. And you have a profitable summer as well, too. So with that, I will catch up to everybody on our next weekly market review next Sunday. And for all of our members, then we will catch up to you in the chat room going into London Open Tuesday. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.